Hi everyone, welcome to Mondays on the Mat with Emma, with me. It's episode 6 today, and I wanted to show you a couple of great exercises to do if you have back tightness. A lot of us tend to stiffen up in the lower back or upper back even when we're sitting for long periods at a time. And just in general, if we're, not moving as much probably as we should be, or ideally are moving, our back can tend to tighten up. So if we want to reduce the tightness, there's a couple of great Pilates exercises to do. Today will be the cat stretch, the roller, hip rolls, and one I call thread the needle. So if you have a mat, grab it. If not, just on the floor is fine. And even if you want to do this, jump down from your desk if you're at home, or you can go somewhere in your office to do it, would be great. If you jump on board live, say hi. I'd love to know if you're here. Put a comment below and let's begin. So come up onto your hands and knees to begin. When you are doing this exercise, if you get any wrist tension, then you can either spread the fingers so that you can press a little weight through the knuckles, not so much on the wrists. And also another way is just to put more weight on the outside edges of your hands, like kind of karate chop sort of position. So let's begin in a neutral back spine position. And start with an inhale. When you exhale, just round your spine and gently press the back towards the ceiling. So really want you to round your back here and press the middle and upper back towards the ceiling to get a big stretch. And then as you arch the back, do the opposite. Think of opening your chest. So here we're moving the spine as much as we can. We're exhaling, thinking of scooping your abdominals in and up as you do this. And as you inhale, arch the back. This is a great go-to exercise just to maneuver, start to loosen up the back a little. We want to think about moving through all parts of the spine. So it's a tendency to just move perhaps in the upper back and not tuck your tail enough, or the opposite. And same when you arch. Think about sticking the tailbone up and letting your chest press forward. So you're moving the upper back and the lower back. This is a really good stretch you can do. You can do this in the morning when you get up, literally like a cat. This is what you'll see a lot of cats do their morning stretches. A lot of the Pilates names are, and yoga names are after animal movements, because they tend to do a good job looking after their body by stretching a lot. Now come back to neutral and see if you can keep this neutral spine. So I don't want you to be rounded. Really important for the next exercise that your back has its natural arch. And the tendency is for many of us in this 4-point kneeling position to round. We're going to twist the spine. So reach one arm up to the ceiling, and the back will twist a lot easier if it's in neutral. When you reach up, just think about opening your chest. And then as you reach the arm down underneath your body, see if you can bring the shoulder onto the mat. And then rest the head onto the floor. If you can't get all the way, that's okay. Just as long as you're really opening through the back. You're bending your supporting arm as well. Then come back up again, same arm. We reach up, look at the hand, and see if you can avoid leaning backwards, keeping your shoulder above your hand as you twist, and then reach down. This is a great one to open the back and really release any tension that you may have in the upper back. As you exhale, take it down. See if you can stay down now. See if you can hold the shoulder down and lift your other arm up. Twisting more through your spine. Lower your arm down and bring yourself all the way back up. Let's do the other side now. So lift as you reach the arm. Remember, try not to shift backwards. See if you can keep that shoulder above the hand. And then as you exhale, reach through. So see if you can bring your shoulder down onto the mat, and you have to bend your supporting arm to do that. Inhale to lift up, look at your arm. And exhale as you go down. Try again not to shift back too much. See if you can stay forward. Takes a bit of practice sometimes if you haven't done this one before. One more time, reach up, inhale. Try not to swing your bottom if you can. Keep steady through the hips. Exhale as you reach down. Now stay down here. If that's okay, reach your other arm up. This will give you a really nice opening through the back and release any tightness, hopefully, that you're feeling in the shoulders and back. And when you're ready, slowly come up. The last one, we're going to do a hip roll. So I want you to line your back now. Just slowly come down. And have your feet about hip distance apart roughly as a guide. So your front hip bones, not outside the hips. Make sure you're lining up with the two bony bits here. It's really where our feet and legs should be when we're standing on the floor as well. Arms by your side, and just start with your natural position of your back. And take a breath in. As you exhale, I want you to use your core, scoop your belly to flatten your lower back into the mat. And then start to peel just your tailbone up off the mat. Then peel your lower back off the mat. Then your middle back. So we're working all the way up. Then your upper back will come off, but not to the point where you're letting everything overarch. I want you to keep a bit of core connection. So you've got a straight line between shoulders, hips, and knees here. When you roll down, soften your sternum. So drop from here, your chest first, then your upper back. So what we're trying to do is touch one bone at a time onto the mat as we roll back down. And inhale as you release your spine into the start position. Breathe in. When you're ready, exhale, scoop your tummy first and flatten your back into the mat. Take your tailbone off the mat, then take your lower back, then your middle back, and then your upper back. So we're peeling the spine one bone at a time. And as you go down, drop your sternum, your upper back, and then your middle back, and your lower back. So think about this kind of like a chain. Your spine is like a chain, and you're peeling one link of the chain off the mat at a time, and then you're placing one link of a chain back down onto your mat. So you're touching every part. Now you may notice if your spine is a little bit stiff in one area, you may notice that you perhaps don't touch in that spot. So really take your time to press the back in, every single bone. I want you to feel it. And this is a really great way to stretch out the back and to stretch out that tightness. So if you're really focused on articulating the spine, touching every bone on the way up and on the way down, then you'll really get the benefit. If you're just starting to come up and just lift the hips without articulating, without pressing into the mat, then you're going to lose the effect. So make sure you're not missing any patch of your spine. And that tends to happen if you have a stiffer spot in the back. That's good. You're all done with that one now. And so if you have been watching, if you're with me, say hi. Yes. Okay. Hi, Mary. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. If you have scoliosis, I'm not sure which exercise you were referring to now because I've just done 3. Hi, Barb. If you can let me know if it's exercise 1, 2, or 3 would be great. But in general, all of these are going to be great for your spine if you have scoliosis. Scoliosis is curvature of the spine, and you will feel tightness more probably on one side than the other if you do have scoliosis. So you can sort of focus on that tight side a little more if you feel you need to. For example, you can press your back up more on that one side just to feel in the stretches, or you can just notice how you're feeling both sides. You can kind of play around. You can stretch the opposite side more. You will be a little uneven in your spine, but it's okay to still try and work through them equally if you can. Good question. Hopefully that's answered your question. But yeah, all of them are great. I'm not sure if you were referring to anything in particular, any one in particular. So yes, generally we can get stiffer spots in the spine, and if you're feeling stiffness in one particular area, like in the lower back, the last exercise we did where we're pressing the back into the mat, really focus on that. Really focus on moving the area that you're feeling the stiffness. It's good to just move the whole spine, obviously, but helps a lot if you can focus on the area you're feeling tight in. Now I'm just checking, Mary. Great. Here we go. I'm just looking at your question. So tempted to do your moves because it might help my cervical spondylolisthesis treatment. Only I don't know who will determine if I can do or I can't. Oh, okay. All right. So spondylolisthesis is, and it's cervical, so it's in your neck. So generally, spondylolisthesis is a slipping of the discs. So it's kind of like the discs have shifted a little. So it depends. It'd be great to have a chat to you separately just to know what advice you've been given. However, generally you want to avoid too much flexion, too much extension if you have spondylolisthesis. It's a tricky one to pronounce, because you're moving those joints that are a little bit out of place into a further position out of place, if that makes sense. So if you can work a lot in neutral generally for the spondylolisthesis conditions, you will feel better perhaps, but if you still need to move eventually, because you move in your everyday life in general. So depending on how strong your muscles are around the area will also determine how much you should be moving. So a little bit tricky for me to answer directly with that condition. So please feel free to let me know in the private message at any point if you want to have a more detailed chat. It's a disc bulge in my case. Okay, so disc bulges, then you want to be mindful when you're rounding the back. Okay, so when we're doing the flexion, we call it, when anytime we're rounding, it's generally avoided if you have a disc bulge. So yes, spondylolisthesis, that's it. Try saying spondylolisthesis. Yeah, it's a tricky one to say. So generally, if your disc bulge is pushing to the back, it's better for you to avoid rounding. Okay, so again, it depends where the disc bulge is protruding, which way. But you still need to move. So as long as it's not really strong loaded flexion, perhaps a cat stretch is going to feel okay, because there's no pressure or load on your discs when you're on your hands and knees. But happy to chat to you anytime with a bit more detail, and we can look at your specific case, Mary. Good questions though, because a lot of people who are wanting to do something for their back, they really need to know if it's suitable, if they have any conditions at all. So my videos today were more just to go for general back tightness, not specifically for any conditions. However, depending on the condition, it may also still be good. So yes, please reach out. I can point you to a couple of videos, Mary, to help you with that condition. Namrita, hi, good to see you. So please feel free to ask me any other questions while I'm here live. This is exactly what I'm doing the live videos for, to help answer any questions and to give you some tips and assist you in anything you need help with. Please feel free to request anything you want me to cover. Every week I'm doing either a video or a written blog, so you're welcome to suggest anything you'd like more information on. Hi Barb, great to chat. Doing lots of swimming. Yeah, okay, so your back feels a bit tender. Okay, so Barb, so if your back isn't in neutral, more so with breaststroke than freestyle. So your back, I know your back because I've trained you. So the lower back can feel a little bit tight for you. So I think sometimes what happens when we're exercising, if we are stiff in one area, for example, if we're stiff in the upper back, then and it's not moving as much, then the lower back will do more of the moving. So if one part of the spine is always taking the pressure and the movements, it can get a little bit tired, it can get a little bit perhaps overworked. So perhaps that could be, you know, something to do for you to think about, is moving a bit more in the upper back, not necessarily for your breaststroke as such, because you're not really moving the upper back, but start to get some more mobility in your upper back. Because, and in Pilates, we teach this a lot. We teach moving every single part of the spine in our movements, because if we only move, for example, from the lower back all the time, that's a lot of wear and tear on one area. Ideally, our back is quite mobile and quite flexible is what we're after, because then the work or the shock and the movements come all through the spine. It's not just focused on one part of the spine. So for you, maybe Barb, because I know your body, I would recommend maybe doing a bit more upper back mobility as well, because I know you do a lot of exercise and you do focus a lot on looking after your body. Maybe add that to your program. Do some of the rotation. We just did one today in this video. If you missed it, you can watch the replay. The stretch where you reach the body through, thread the needle. An intent for you also, I think, Barb, a lot of cat stretches still, focusing on the lower back. And if you feel it more in breaststroke than freestyle, maybe see if you can be starting to switch on your core a little bit. Just not too strong, not gripping your tummy too much, but maybe just think of a little bit of movement, or think of your movement generating from your lower tummy, so that you're not perhaps overarching your lower back. Just see if that helps. That could be something that might help you. All of our movement, this goes for everyone, should come from our center of gravity, our core, so kind of below our belly button area. So if we're mindful of the movement coming from there, doesn't mean you have to grip, suck the belly in, or pull it in too strong. It's just a light, gentle connection will hopefully support the back as well. So that could be something to think about, Barb. Generally, you know, we forget about the tummy in what we're doing. And if we're focused on moving from that area, that will give us hopefully a bit of support that we need for the spine and the back. Hopefully that's helped, Barb. If you do have any more questions, message me anytime. I'm free to chat. And yeah, so if anyone else does have any questions who hasn't been watching the video live, you're welcome to put in questions in the comments below. I can answer them after the video. And again, as I mentioned, please request anything you'd like me to cover. The videos are always available on Facebook. I'll also put them up on YouTube, and you can also have them available to you in my Core Fit Club membership. I have a monthly membership where I produce new videos for my members. We have over 150 videos there for you to choose from. Lots of videos, including for knee pain, back pain, just general toning up, strengthening. So if you ever want to join, just let me know. I'll put the link in the comments below, and it's free for 7 days. Okay, Barb, great. Yeah, just see how they go. Connecting to your core, a little bit more upper back movement focus, perhaps. So thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and feel free to, as I said, message me later if there's anything else you need answering, and I'll see you again next week. And also, if you're on Instagram, I have now a new channel on Instagram as well. So Instagram TV. So many channels, so many areas. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.